exciting episode on City Kids. It promises to be exciting, educative, and entertaining. City Kids, welcome on board. I am Aunty Ayo. Welcome back. Like I said, City Kids today is going to be exciting, entertaining, and educative as usual. Today we'll be talking about something very interesting, and it is identifying and nurturing certain skills and talents in children. Over time, research has shown that a lot of children have talents in them, while some of these talents are silent in others. Some are usually very low, and it might not even show over time. And that is why I have on board, I have Mrs. Akintuji. She'll be talking to us extensively on how we can identify, recognize, and nurture these skills and talents in our children. Welcome on board, City Kids. I have Mrs. Akintuji here with me. Let's give her a round of applause. Yay! I have a few questions I would like to ask you about how we can nurture and develop these skills in our children. Now, we know that children are unique and they develop at their own pace as they grow. The first question I would like to ask is, how can we describe or recognize a talent or skill in a child?
Yes, I don't think it's sacrosanct that at a particular age, a child should be able to do one thing or the other. Because children grow at their own pace, and they should be allowed to do that. They should be allowed to do that. And this is where our parents are making a lot of mistakes by comparing children. Children are not the same, even two children from the same womb at the same time. They are not the same. You cannot compare them. So there are some children that are so fast in bringing out their skills. And there are some that bring out theirs very late. Look at even handwriting. Under normal condition, by the time a child attains 5, he should be able to write and write legibly and on a straight line. But some children, they can't. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. But after some time, they'll pick up and even write better than those who started before them.
How do I recognize or identify a special talent or a skill that a child possesses?
Okay, when you observe certain traits in the child that are not common, though positive, okay, they are positive attributes that are not common to other children. You know, an activity that the child engages in that is only peculiar to him. For instance, when you notice your 2-year-old girl or boy, you know, color, and you feel that, oh, this is strange. The coloring is just you don't expect to have that kind of ability, to see the kind of ability that the child is showing in a 2-year-old. You know, when you observe a recurring pattern in the child that is not common to other children, then you know that your child is talented. The child is able to question you. You know, you marvel at the kind of questioning the child is throwing at you. Then you know that, oh, this is a gifted child.
Welcome back. Today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic, and the topic on City Kids is how to nurture, identify, and recognize special skills and talents in children. I have two people in the house who will be discussing this extensively with us on the segment. Now, City Kids, let's welcome Mr. David and Mrs. Debbie. Let's give them a round of applause. You're welcome on board.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome on board. Yes. Mrs. Debbie, let's have you first. Please come.
Thank you.
Okay, as the talent coordinator, I would like to ask, what is a talent or a skill in a child, and how do I recognize a talent in a child?
Okay. Talent or skills in children are basically gifts. that they were born with. Okay, sometimes you can be a born talent, okay, and at the same time, you can still get to identify a talent in a child, which a child might not be born with.
Okay.
In the sense that in a learning environment, we are open to identifying them and helping them to come out of whatever shell they might be in. Now, to discover a skill in children as a teacher, I get to bring myself down to the level of the children. I get to mix with them. Then you can, they will free up themselves to you. From there, you begin to discover, okay, a child is good in singing, a child is good in art, but that's for an academic environment. Because if you are not free with children, they aren't going to expose who they really are to you, both on the negative side and the positive side. That's how I see it.
I would like to ask another question.
Okay.
We know there are two major factors that develop or that determine these children's growth. That's the genes and the environment. How do we balance this? The school has its role, the teacher has its role, the parents have their own role to play, and the society has its own role to play. How do we balance this as parents or as guardians to these children?
Okay. That's we're talking about children who are born talent, and at the same time others who are able to discover themselves through the environment. Now, for you to balance this, what we see is when you discover a child has a talent, you don't throw that child away, because in an academic environment we believe in the 3 domains of education, which is the cognitive, the psychomotor, and the affective. Now the psychomotor is the one that is key when it comes to skills, that's skill development. Now parents, as much as possible, once the school discovers a child has a talent, you know, for us to strike a balance, we have to notify the parents that this is what your child is good at. You know, your child is good at singing, good at acting, good at, you know, arts, sports, and all that. So from that angle, we'll let them know that this is what we're doing in school. We are grooming the talent we discover your child has, or your child is passionate about. You know, a child can be passionate about something. We don't really know that thing. But once the passion is there, you ignite that passion by helping the child to discover what that area or area of skill is all about. And that passion might even grow into very big things. You now discover, oh, this child is passionate about music. You throw the child into music and you discover there's a talent in that child. As an ICT instructor here in the school, how do you recognize a talent or a special skill in a child coming from the ICT background? I want you to explain briefly to us.
Okay, firstly, what I try to do when it comes to handling kids and then trying to understand what area they're actually gifted in or interested in is, firstly, what I try to do is to pay attention to them and then to see what they are majorly particular about. As for Siju, he always talks about calendar and he always says he wants to write calendar. So I decided to, you know, check and see what he's doing. As for the IT world, what made me chose this path for my career is that I remember during my time was when we first had some Samsung before the Android era. So we had this guy in my area who loves to buy new phones. So anytime he has issues with this phone, he brings them to me, and I've never used any of those phones. I didn't even have a phone, but I can easily help him, you know, resolve his issue and then hand over the phone back to him. And he was always saying that he knows that I was going to be able to do it. So when I was choosing a career, I just said, okay, computer science fits in, so let me do computer science. And then I didn't find it hard. So I think for me it's a thing of interest and then what the child is particular about. And then just as to, we should also emphasize the need for developing a gift, because as much as a child has a gift, that gift also needs to be developed, even if everyone shares that gift. The truth is that what makes you say someone is gifted is if they've well developed their gift actually.
That's true.
Now, for example, we have a lot of people who can play the piano. We have a lot of people who play the guitar, the violin, and the rest. But what differentiates a good violin player is the amount of time that person puts in practicing, aside from the talent he has or the interest in having learning that particular instrument. But when they spend more time learning about those things, then they play it differently from the way anyone else would play it. So it's a thing, there should be an emphasis on, okay, a child has a gift, than a child developing that gift. Because if you have a gift and you don't develop it, you will remain with the average. So nobody will really consider it as a gift. They will just assume, okay, he or she knows how to do this. But once you develop that thing very well, to an extent, you play it like a genius. So when you play, everybody say, oh, this is a genius, or this is a musical genius. We have so many singers, but there are some that stands out. That's because they have the talent, and then they have also take out their time to develop that talent.
Okay, another quick question. Are there vocational subjects or ICT subjects that can be tailored towards nurturing the skills and talents in children?
Coding is a great example. And the beauty about coding is that, you know, the goal is it's not that we're trying to train kids in primary school to start writing heavy codes. No, we are trying to pass to them an ideology, and that's the importance of critical thinking and then computational thinking. That is how to use solutions you gain in computer science to solve our everyday problem. So coding is a great way of improving a child's sense of reasoning, and there are also games they can play too. So, you know, we are gradually understanding those things. You find out that parents used to kick against children playing games, but today they are educational games. And the truth is that even those games that are for fun, one way or the other, they are learning. Because even for me as an ICT teacher, there are a lot of times I allow the kids go to the computer room to play games. Why? Because I know that they are going to learn what I won't have to teach them. For example, how to use the mouse properly. So there are some games they have to play with their mouse, but they don't know they are mastering how to use their mouse rather, or they start learning about different keys on the keyboard as well. So but those games, and there are games which also helps their critical thinking, their sense of reasoning, and problem solving is a skill for the 21st century. And critical thinking.
Thank you very much for this. You mentioned a boy, Shijo. Can we interact with him and maybe some of his classmates? Let's see what they know, sure. And let's just have a chit chat with them. City kids, let's sing and learn.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the expert body on coronavirus, has released guidance for general public and healthcare professionals on the symptoms of the virus. A person could be at risk if they have any or all of the following: fever and symptoms of lower respiratory illness, such as coughing or difficulty breathing, after traveling to Wuhan or having close contact with someone who was ill and is now under investigation for the virus in the past 2 weeks. Fever or symptoms of lower respiratory illness after having close contact in the past 2 weeks with someone who's been confirmed to have the virus. The CDC defined close contact as being within about 6 feet, 1.8 meters, or within the room or care area of a person with the coronavirus for a prolonged period without appropriate protective clothing, or having direct contact with the infectious secretions of a person with the virus without protective clothing. Coronaviruses are particularly dangerous for people who have weaker immune systems, like young children and older adults. To protect yourself from the virus, try to avoid contact with people who display symptoms similar to those of pneumonia or the common cold, like coughing or a runny nose. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water and scrub for at least 20 seconds. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer when possible. Avoid animals and animal markets. The only current treatment for coronavirus being offered is supportive in nature. If you notice any of these symptoms and conditions, please contact your nearest professional healthcare setup. Help spread this information to everyone.
City kids, it's time for morals of the day.
A B D E F G B I J K L M N O P R S Sh T U W Y A B D E F G B I J K L M N O P R S Sh T U W Y.
We'll be having an interactive session with Shiju and his classmates. So now, Shiju, I have these questions for you. The first question is, when will Ghana be 100 years old if they gained independence on March 6, 1957?
It will be 100 years in 2057.
The second question I have for you is, if my grandma is 60 years old now, she was born on February 2nd, 1960. What year would she clock 120 years?
She was born in 1960.
Yes.
And she was born done 120 years.
What year would she be born 20 years?
She will be 1 to 20 years in 2080. It's a Friday.
The third question is, Nigeria gained our independence on October 1st, 1960. This year, 2020, Nigeria will be 60 years old. When will Nigeria clock 120 years old?
It will be 120 years in 2080. 2080 is a leap year. And it's a Tuesday.
Correct. Let's give him a round of applause. The final question I have for you, Shiju, is, Carol School started September 9th, 1985. When will Carol School clock 70 years?
Was born September 5 and September 9 in
1985, yes.
I just want to calculate it.
Okay.
Is it 30 years?
Yes, I said when. Yes, I said when will Carol School clock 70 years?
The clocks of 70 years in 2055. September 9, 2055 is Thursday.
Correct. Can you tell me what your best subject is? Why do you like it?
My best subject is home economics. I like home economics because it teaches me how to sew and take care of my house.
Let's give her a round of applause. What's your best subject?
My best subject is mathematics.
Why do you like it?
I like mathematics because it teaches me how to solve my sums very well.
Oh, is she correct?
Of course she's right.
How well does she perform in her arithmetic?
She's above average.
Okay, let's clap for her. What's your best subject?
My name is Amuja Oralua and my best subject is English language.
Why do you like it?
I like English because it shows me the correct use of prepositions and types of nouns and verbs.
Wow. Let's give her a round of applause. Can you tell me what your best subject is?
My best subject is music.
Why do you like it?
I like music because I find it very interesting. It helps me to bring out my talent to other people
and it teaches me to use my tones and my semitones when playing musical instruments.
Wow, interesting. Can you sing a song for us?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Let's give her a round of applause. Can you tell me what you like about City Kids?
My name is Obashalakwe Adeniran, and I like City Kids because it's a show that children and other people can watch.
Wow, interesting. Let's give her a round of applause. Bolu, can you tell me what you like about City Kids?
My name is Bolo Atife Abiodun, and what I like about City Kids program is it is creative and it shows kids' talent.
Wow, interesting. Let's give her a round of applause. This brings us to the end of this wonderful edition on City Kids. Today we talked about how we can identify, recognize and nurture special skills and talents in children. 1. By paying attention to close details. 2. By allowing our children explore their freedom and being free. We also learned on how we can also help them in developing these natural skills that comes with them. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Till I come your way same time next week, I am Aunty Ayo. Bye for now.